What about something fancy? I just thought of this right now. What about, you know how they make the first half, second half, where you
Hmm.
can predict the winners of the first half and the second half for the plus money? You can get ultra fancy on
There
something
you
like that,
go.
pal.
You know,
Public,
I
public.
I look. That's not really gonna affect anything. But you know what else is gonna affect anything? The time clock.
Do you think that's good or bad, man? They're not thinking far ahead or that deep into it. But when you become a parent, you do think about these things. What am I exposing my kid to? Who is he around? You want to protect him, bro. Like, because the world's a scary place, and I love my boy. I love him a lot, and I know every parent does too. So what you're willing to do and what I'm willing to do doesn't mean we love our kids any less or any different. They're our own views, but I just can't, bro. Like, don't talk to my kid about that. If my kid was in that class, and I'm pretty sure I would be upset.
Puppy, we are back for episode 12. Thank you for coming back, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, look, man, we have a lot to talk about today. We have the tournament that just happened. They're in the final four. I have a couple picks in these games, and I think I have a pick for the winner on the advancement as well. So I got three picks there, and we're gonna talk some MLB season starting in a couple days. Really exciting. We have all these new rules, and I really want to get into them. I don't know, in Pacific, just the pitch clock and the bigger bases. Okay, that's all I really, to me, that's the only difference. So that's all we're going to talk about. And we're going to go over our Discord review. I know you didn't have a lot in Discord. I didn't either, but I had a little bit. So we'll go over that. Had a pick yesterday. The Bulls, they lost. That was actually, I took one on the chin there. I had, yeah, I had money line. And, actually, they played pretty good, but they lost. So we'll get into that a little bit and a couple other little things at the end. But all right, man, look, let's get into NCAA. Uh, First off, we have FAU versus San Diego State. I'm going to tell you right now, I like FAU. I've been watching them for a while now in the tournament. I think I've watched their games the most out of all these teams that are left. They play very, very together as a team. They have roles assigned to different players, and they've been playing those roles. So when the time comes within the game, they've been really executing. And man, that's my top pick. Like right now, I saw they were -2. I'd rather just take them on the money line. I think it was like +112. I'm actually gonna make that official in the Discord. You can make it official here. And we have Miami versus UConn.
Okay.
I like UConn in that game. I think UConn's the best team left out of all these four teams. Um, you know, I think when we're trying to like handicap these teams, for me personally, I don't have numbers to back any of this up. I just have, as a fan, what I'm looking at.
The eye
This
test.
this is it really is kind of the eye. Well, it's the eye test. It's also kind of it's just this is a public bet, to be quite honest. But I want to make a I want to I really feel that FAU is going to pull through. I'll
You
just
feel FAU's the public bet.
well no
Or
I think what
what
I'm doing personally is a public bet.
Oh, because I was gonna
Yeah,
say that I think
yeah.
everyone's
This is just kind
enticed by
of
this Cinderella story that San Diego State is.
yeah.
First
Well,
time in the Final Four, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah. I mean FAU too, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. Well,
Okay.
I don't. I'm not. I don't know their history, but look, I think. I think San Diego State honestly is the worst team out of all these teams left. I watched their team
Vegas might
against.
agree
Yeah,
with you.
I watched their team against Creighton. They barely got out of that game, and it isn't just that game. I've seen both these teams and just comparing them in my head, just doing it as like a thought experiment. FAU always pulls through, and that's a good money line bet. It's like I said, I believe right now I can get it at like one. It's probably higher if I were to shop around, or But I saw 112 at the local book, so I thought that was pretty good. I don't think you'll need a two. I don't think it'll be a close game. I think, well,
What
FAU.
about something fancy? I just thought of this right now. What about you know how they make the first half, second half, where you
Mhm.
can predict the winners of the first half and the second half for the plus money? You can get ultra fancy on
There
something
you
like that.
go.
Pal.
You know,
Public.
I
Public.
I looked at parlaying FAU and UConn money line, and it paid like plus 200 if you were to do both of their money line. Because right now UConn was like minus 250 or something. They were money line. Actually, I think that Miami UConn game would be closer, but I think UConn will pull out. And FAU versus San Diego, I don't think that San Diego is gonna stick with them. I can see that being a 10 point.
Are they a full game dominant type of a team? Because I'm only speaking because I
Yeah,
haven't actually watched them play. Or are they the type of team that turns up at the end in the second half?
I traditionally have just been just doing halves. I don't even like to bet full games mostly. In this situation, because these are the final four games, I'm not too particular on how any of these teams are going to fare within the first half. FAU, they have I think they've won all the first halves, or they're close to it. They've been a really good first half team. San Diego State, I think, has been the team that has come back in the second half. So I think if you're looking for that angle, FAU would be the
Oof,
first half.
I'm liking this. The more you talk,
Yeah.
I'm liking this San Diego State money line first half minus 129. I gotta look into that.
Well, that's kind of first half.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think
look
they've
at
been the
that.
second half team. But if it's 120, yeah. Well, they're the favorites. So, but yeah, I have them full game. FAU money line, and then yeah. Do you have anything in the Yukon Miami?
Like I said, man, I haven't watched a game. I just heard about San Diego State. I don't know why it was on my news feed. I don't know if I have people who went to the school or how the algorithms work, but it was just popping up, man. Like it's something you should know about, but I didn't watch any of the games.
Yeah.
My
Well, I
bad,
hope
Nate.
we'll see what happens. I think they're going to get blown out. I'll take the
Okay.
bet. I'll take the bet against you. We
In the
can
first
make
half?
yeah, we could do this a side bet for sure.
Ooh, I like that. I
So
had to think about
you
it.
haven't watched any of the Final Four
I
or any
have
of the
not.
tournament?
Well, I mean, we are in the Final Four right now, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so I have not tuned in, so I've missed a lot of basketball. I honestly think it's just a great time to watch the game. I don't think I'm going to be betting too much on the games themselves. That's just me.
yeah.
I'll stick to maybe what I know best. But I gotta say, like you were talking, and then I was like, it was just contradicting what the number was. So I was like, man, maybe there's something here that I don't know about. San Diego State money line first half minus 129.
Yeah.
I-
What's the what's the spread?
Okay, so for the full game, like you said, it's a minus two.
But what's the half spread?
The half spread is basically it's minus 1.5. So
What's the odds on that?
actually minus 103.
Minus 1.5.
Yeah. And then the FAU plus 1.5 is minus 124. I don't know. Like I said, I look into these things. It's not official or nothing, but
Yeah.
it just came to my mind as you were talking, right?
Well, yeah.
I'm checking a book.
I think full game FAU. We'll
That
see.
may very well be the side.
Like I said, I do believe San Diego State has been the second half team.
Okay.
I think they've been the second half team. So I think they had to come back against Creighton.
What if they won by a point in a point? Money line, money
Yeah.
line.
Anyway,
Never know.
um, man, these games they've been okay. They've been pretty. This past weekend had some pretty good games, but there was, other than a couple upsets with the 16 beating the one, which is kind of, I guess that's pretty cool. There was not, it was not that much excitement.
Not as
I
exciting as the World Baseball Classic, pal.
yeah. What do you think? What do you think will happen with that?
Oh my God, that was you. My thoughts, you know them very well. I'm very passionate about baseball. That was a great tournament. Um, they have like little clips where they have like the best plays or whatever. Just amazing stuff. Now it is unfortunate though that like a few guys ended up getting hurt where they're like lost for the season. That guy from the Mets, right? I think his name was Edwin Diaz.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but yeah, there's other players who got hurt as well, and it's unfortunate. But all in all, I think it was good for baseball,
Well,
right?
you play, you get hurt. It's part of the game.
It is part of the game. And what would you be doing otherwise? You would be in spring training. So why are you training against AAA and AA to build up your confidence, pal? How about we face the best of the best in the world because that is the global market, right? These players are coming from all over. They're not just from America. I love baseball,
What
World
did
Baseball Classic.
what did you think about that last out in the championship game?
Oh, Otani and Trout, dude,
Yeah.
that was epic. That was epic, and
What's the probability that that's going to happen?
likely, very likely.
No, I mean
I don't
both
know if I was a gambling man, I would probably.
both team captains, but they're on the same team. One's pitching, one's hitting. You know, they're down by 1 run.
It sounds almost television scripted, pal.
Almost, right?
Probably was, pal.
So you're saying you think it's scripted?
I don't know, man. Hey, man, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
No comment, man.
that was pretty epic. You know, that was baseball without the new rules.
Oh, dude, I don't know how I feel about that. Do you know the rules now? Because I actually didn't know the rules entirely until right
Well,
before I
I
came
know the
here.
pitch clock, which is I think 15 seconds.
In between pitches with no runners aboard. And
Okay.
then you get 20 seconds with runners on. And you get 30 seconds in between batters.
Oh, so you get more seconds with a runner on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But it's not much. It's 5 more seconds.
It could be,
Although, actually,
yeah,
that's a stolen base.
yeah.
I could make it to first base in 5 seconds.
What are the other rules? There's um the bigger
Uh,
bases.
and I don't know how that affects the game. I just would think I don't know if a fielder that helps me or not. I mean, I guess, you know what I think it'll do? It'll avoid two people coming into contact with one another. And maybe that was the goal and objective to make the game more safe. I don't know. I could be like not reading that right. But if you have a bigger base, just playing the game of baseball, a lot of injuries occur when we're just running right into each other because there's not a lot of room or wiggle room around each other. I think opening it up allows people to maintain a safer space. I don't know, man. I'm just making shit.
Well, no, you're right.
I felt like I played baseball. I felt like that.
You felt like the bases are too small.
I never felt like they were too small, but I also didn't have Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani running at me, or what's that guy, Daniel Vogelbach.
Yeah.
If you had a Daniel Vogelbach coming at you sliding, trying to break up a double play, what are you doing, pal?
I think they're supposed to be softer too,
Okay, there you
like
go.
a pillow.
Oh, like old school. I used to at Horner Park.
I don't know. I
Remember that?
just know they're bigger. I think they're
Once
softer
upon a
as well.
time.
I think they're
Yeah.
softer. You know, that's not really going to affect anything. But you know what else is going to affect anything? The time clock.
Do you think that's good or bad, man?
You know, I don't like it.
Thoughts? Penny for your thoughts, man.
Well, all right. Let me tell you. Before we get into just the game, I want to talk about the gambling aspect. First off, I think for me, I was thinking about this. How am I going to approach, everything that I know how to gamble with this? And first, I need to see some stuff. I need to see some data come through that just suggests that like this really isn't going to affect anything, because I think it's going to affect some people and it's not going to affect some people. And when
I love that you mentioned that because right before we came on. It literally, I mean, all these. I'm sure CBS is not the only one, right? But they have a very nice summary of everything we just discussed, and then it tells you who the fastest pitchers are in the MLB. Who do you think's in the top five?
I don't know.
Well, we got Jesse Chavez, Cole Irvin, Keegan Aiken, Aaron Ashby, and Logan Webb. And then they even tell you the fastest pitchers with runners on. It's probably much of the same, but what about the slowest? Who do you think's in the slowest?
I don't know any of these numbers, my guy.
Jake Diekman from the White Sox,
I don't,
Craig Kimbrell.
or even care. Like, what are these numbers? How are these numbers going to help?
That's what I'm saying. You said you wanted to see some data, so they're telling you, like they already know some of this data.
That data doesn't help me.
Specific. Actually, I disagree. That's where it starts. You have to know, like, who the fastest, delivers the quickest.
I just think that this is gonna introduce another aspect of the game that someone has to think about, and whether or not they can think about this and perform their job at the same time. Because you're gonna have a lot of these older veteran players who have never been introduced to this. Now they're going to be introduced. They've been playing in spring training, obviously, but at the same time, it's now a mental thought that, I gotta hurry up. It might not be as smooth for some people, and then there might be some people that it doesn't have any effect on them whatsoever. And to me, it's not about how fast. It's not those metrics. It's more about the performance metrics. So I want to see if there's players who are still performing, at that same aspect. There's pitchers who they were good because they were pitching fast last year, and now they're just another pitcher, if players are going in there facing the same type of rhythm pitchers, fast, fast. Well, now when these guys come in, they're not that, different of what was just happening. So, I mean, there's all little different nuances within the game that I think this is going to affect, not just for the pitchers, but for the hitter. Is the batter now going to be so conscious of, I can't step out the box. If I do step out the box, I get right back in the box. It's like, it's now something that they have to even think about.
It keeps them off balance.
That's what I'm saying.
The hitters.
These guys are they're so focused at their craft that now you're introducing a time clock in their head of when they have to do some of this stuff. And I know some guys, it's not going to have any effect. It's just going to be natural for them.
I think it'll affect the hitters more.
So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
You're onto something, pal. Max Scherzer agrees with you, by the way. He actually loves the new rules. "Quote unquote, pitchers will dictate the pace." So you got to find out who likes and who thrives.
I'm just saying it's going to be like a little bit different environment. So like, I still want to go with the numbers, but I don't want to, get into this this habit of looking or knowing a player last year and thinking that they're the same player this year. Not to say that they can't slump in the beginning or
can't teach an old dog new tricks, pal.
Yeah, I mean we're talking, maybe 3 weeks into the season before you can really give a little bit of an assessment. Okay, this is what this looks like. Okay, these players aren't struggling with it, or they are, they're thriving with it. The speed of the game, they like it. Everyone's doing really well. Only a couple players are having issues. Like, for gambling now, for like personal entertainment, bro, I don't need the game sped up.
Oh, you know what? Actually, you mentioning this totally random, but did you see the play? And I forget which catcher it was, where the umpire threw him out. He put his glove out for the ball.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Yeah, it was for the Reds.
That was so bogus. That umpire should apologize to the catcher, bro.
Yeah.
He literally thought. So the catcher, again, I don't remember his name, but he sticks his glove out for a brand new ball. When he doesn't feel the ball right away,
yeah, I saw that.
Lifts his glove up because he's thinking the umpire's throwing the ball to the pitcher, which also happens. I used to umpire. Sometimes I want to throw the ball to the pitcher. He didn't feel it right away, so the umpire literally threw him out of the game. Like, that was kind of uncalled for. But think about it. From a betting standpoint, now you're talking about new rules and new things. Like, I feel like there's new temperaments being added. They're giving the umpires more control over the game. I don't know if it's good for for betting or for because then they could take your favorite player out. They could throw him out for something silly like that. Like to me, that could affect the outcome of a bet. Can it not? You're gonna throw one of my. I don't know if he was one of their best players or who he was again, but let's suppose he was,
Yeah,
and
I think
you
he
just
was
kicked
their
him out.
top catcher.
Okay, so that's a
Yeah.
big problem, pal. If you're going to be betting and then umpires see, and the thing like, has anyone released a statement? Because that's clearly like you can't be doing that kind of stuff, pal. And if you do that during the regular season at the umpires association, nobody's like MLB. I haven't heard anything. Like I think you should comment on that because if not, that actually affects the integrity of the game.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
it
think they
does.
care. I don't think they care.
They may not, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Well, I think they should have robot umps for the balls and strikes.
that'd be kind of cool.
Like they try to speed up the game, and I think they're missing the point. I think if they had robot umps, I think the game would be sped up. And I think speeding up the game 15 minutes or whatever it's going to be, I think it's going to be bad for the game in
I think it's
general.
bad for mechanics for your if you're a pitcher too. I mean, you can't always rush. Think about it. Maybe right away you can, but like later on, say you're a starting pitcher who usually gives your team 6 innings, 7 innings. Now you can only go five because you're going so fast and your arm's hurting. It's just natural. You're only human, so these pitchers are gonna wear out sooner. And you're right. We don't know how some of these workhorses who have traditionally been workhorses, how they're going to respond. So I'm interested still. Baseball's still my thing. I feel like they give us so many games with baseball that we're allowed time to figure it out. And then they figure it out. Everybody figures it out.
What was your favorite baseball bets that you're kind of making? What do you
Oh, I haven't. What do you mean?
like?
Like type of bets?
Yeah,
Like Nerfy Yerfies or
yeah,
what are we talking?
exactly. Home run.
Oh yeah, like okay, there's so many different. Okay, so in addition to all the different games and options, they got all these individual bets within the game. The problem is they don't release these beforehand, right? They usually come out in game. You're not gonna let you bet on the fourth inning, or you know what I mean, like before the game starts. But other than that, man, I just have a little fun with it. I can't say there's one bet in particular that I like, but except for the home runs.
Yeah, you're a home run guy, right?
I like home runs. Who doesn't like home runs, man? Vinny Public, I want home runs.
We're talking to what? Over, under.
Overs and unders on the home runs. That's a big one. But Nerfy Yerfy is actually a good one too. See, the point is like these bets are good and advantageous sometimes because you can get in and you can get out. Other bets you have to sit it out, which actually, depending on numerous factors, could completely change. Your guy could get thrown out of the game because he wasn't, he didn't say thank you to the ump. I don't know. Like maybe he was disrespectful, talked about his wife.
I did really well last year. I know we tracked like half of it in Discord. By the time we get the Discord up this year, I'll have all of it in the Discord. It'll be, for me, tons of nerfies, yerfies, first threes, first fives.
You like those Yerfies though. You like those.
No, I think you can get a lot of really good data from the first inning and the third inning of teams, and so I try to use that. So, um, yeah, baseball starts in a couple of days. We'll see. Maybe about 3 weeks from now, you'll start seeing tons of those type of bets. We gotta wait and see. Um, I don't like these new rules. Just in general. I guess call me a traditionalist. I'm not that old either. I wonder.
Oh, we're old, pal.
Well, I
We're up
wonder.
there.
No, they've been saying this for a long time. Oh, we need to speed up the game. We need to speed up the game. We need to speed up the game. I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it'll work.
You know what they're trying to do, right? They're
What?
trying to squeeze in more advertisement dollars, is really what it is. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, if you speed up the game, but in reality, I'm interested now. So maybe the game itself is quicker, but the pre and post game and everything that you had, all the advertisements in between, I wonder if the programming ends up being like the full programming. Think about it. It's not just, I mean, if you're at the game, it's probably start and finish. But if you're watching it and it's like a television event to you,
Yeah, I think if you're at the stadium, that's gonna suck. If you're trying to go get
they're gonna drown us with ads.
beer or you're trying to go to the bathroom, and all of a sudden you miss 2 innings because they're going way faster.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't know, pal. Like now that I think about it, it's just you know what it is? It's just let people work how they work. Like you want the game to be better, well, the players need to be in their optimal environment.
Yeah, I'm for the big
Some guys
bags.
go fast, some guys go slow. Let them do whatever the heck they want to do and just let them pitch the best way they can, just like the hitters, he's in there too. But
I'd say fix the balls. The other rule was the shift, which I think that's going to help the game. But at the same time, I kind of thought about it. That was a rule we were missing, the shift. You're going to be able to start running as soon as the ball is hit and get into your position that you would have been in before. So it might be beneficial because you'll be on the move.
well, I think teams have found a way around that. I forgot what team did it, but they basically brought their outfielder in. So like when you say the shift, they're basically talking about all the infielders being on one side
Yeah.
type deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't do that, but you can have like your center fielder or right fielder, however you want, come in and make like a little diamond in the outfield, right?
Well, it's going to have an effect on the game. It will have an effect on the game. That's the other aspect of it. Like which one of these hitters are going to take advantage of the shift being taken away now in more conventional style play?
Time will tell. Time will tell, pal.
I'll have everything in the Discord. I can't wait. I'm going to have I'll have a channel in there. I'm just going to have it for me. And I mean, we'll have one for you, whatever. And,
Wherever they put the degenerate scum.
and we'll keep a good clean record of it. It'll be fun. Like I'm really excited. We in the Discord, I kept a little record of the first round actually of the tournament. Started off pretty good. I actually missed a couple to put in here. It would have made my numbers better, but the record is what the record is without those. It was 2-5-1. That was just kind of public. I was just kind of, again, I think one of the winners was FAU actually, and
you're riding it. You're riding you're riding them through, huh?
yeah, it was. These were all like 0.25 units. I wasn't really doing my best with these. I was trying to have some fun, but that's what happened. And then last night I took it on the chin with the Bulls.
Man, you've been taking a lot on the chin, man. What's going on?
Well, I only lost to one.
That's saying.
Yeah, I only lost to one. Because I haven't did anything this past week. We were gonna do the recording last week and kind of been sick a little bit, so I still.
You feeling better now?
Well, I had the one yesterday, and yeah, it lost.
We're all good now.
But we'll have one tomorrow probably. We'll have we got the FAU, and we'll have tons. And you gonna keep up anything in the Discord? You got any plans or anything like that?
I really been focusing on the gig and just trying to better myself there. This is an arena. When I say arena, we're talking about sports betting and stuff. It's a part of the portfolio, but it's not the portfolio. You feel me? Like, I'm public.
Well, hey, if you can't do it, you can't do it.
If I don't have time for it, I don't have time for it. And I don't force the issue.
Yeah,
but
you can't force
when
it.
something like baseball happens, we got home runs happening, pal. Come on, pal.
Yeah.
We got baseball.
Well, don't forget that first half San Diego State. You got to look into that.
I will look into that.
Maybe you'll make that official.
Maybe. Time will tell.
That could be where they start off hot and FAU comes back. So, man, one of the last things I wanted to ask you, brother, because you have a child, and I think this is something that you might have to grapple with, one day, of asking this question of what level of exposure you want your child to gambling. Recently, there was a story on the Twitter. There was this woman who got let go because she was at a school and she was talking about how the bracket worked and what the odds were next to all the numbers and their seedings. Uh,
When you say odds, like what do you mean? Like minus 250 or like what
well,
did you say?
it
Or
was
is she just talking about the seeds
the
and
seed, yeah, the seeds, and she works.
probability of them
Yeah,
winning or what?
I'm sure she was talking about the probability too. We can say probability even if it wasn't just for this particular instance that for the question that I'm asking you. So like if this was your child, would you be upset if somebody had exposed your kid to, hey, the uh how to fill out a bracket, let's say, and pick out a winner? And
Yes, I would be very upset actually. This is different than when we grew up. So right now gambling's more accessible. Children are becoming like more vulnerable and susceptible to becoming addicts, right? Um, so when it comes to your kids, it's okay to be cautious. So here's what I will say. I don't know the full context of what that whole story is about. I did hear bits and pieces of it. I think they were second graders, which to me is still too young. It's one of those things where if that's what you're going to do, just let the parents know ahead of time. Whatever parents agree, you continue with it. And there's usually like a few or,
well,
I probably would
do you know the
hold my kid
story?
out.
Do you know the story?
I don't know the full context. I just know it. I wouldn't want.
Well, then let's not include that story in this because we don't actually know. But let's just say in general,
But I
you
will
know,
say.
at a
Well, no, I
school
do want
near
to say.
you, at a school near you, like
I will say this. According to Yale Medicine, 1% of adults have a gambling disorder. 7% of youths have a gambling disorder. That's 7 times as much. So what does that tell you? It means kids, they're more susceptible. You and I know this, bro. We were more susceptible to stuff when we were younger. We were naive. There's words to describe this stuff, pal. So there's nothing wrong as a parent stepping back and saying, you know what, maybe I don't want my kid exposed to this right now. And then when he's older, he can make a decision. And I think at the end of the day, it was probably just inappropriate. It should. It doesn't. It's not the same. When I remember actually doing like some March Madness, probably a bracket for fun in school amongst us. I don't actually remember teachers getting involved in teaching it or talking about it. Maybe in gym class and like your gym teacher will talk about it but again, this is not the context. My understanding is this is a classroom of second graders. Yeah, they're little kids, they're susceptible, they're malleable. You are grooming them. That is exact. And I only say this is because the industry that she works in, and to be honest, it was more like a publicity stunt. It felt like. Actually, I actually do recall a little bit more than what I let on to be because I remember this lady. She had already submitted her letter of resignation. So the article I read that you had sent me, um, I don't know. It took everything out of context. I felt like, and then they just threw in at the end that she had already like basically resigned. So before this happened, she had basically resigned, and then this casino is acting like, or the sports book, they're acting like they just fired her or let her go because of that. But the reality is she had already submitted, like if you look at the chain of events, she had submitted resignation. Did you read that?
yeah,
In the
yeah,
article that
yeah.
you
Well,
sent
that's
me.
what that's this. That's not what this the question's about. It's more about you. How would you feel? I mean, that story that is what it is.
But
That story just brings up the context of this
yeah, the
question.
context of it is at the end of the day, it's up to the parent to decide what they want their kids exposed to when it comes to gambling or when it talks to anything like that. You're a representative of a sports book. It is inappropriate. I don't care what anyone says. It's your kid, and like you get to decide. And then if not, there's an easy way to handle it. You know the lady's coming ahead of time. It's almost like take your kid to what is that? Take your parent to school day where they, what did your dad do? A firefighter. What does your dad do? I don't know.
So, have you thought about this a little bit? If you would let your child do this or no? You need more thinking on it.
I mean, my kid's a kid, pal. He's 4 or 5. Why wouldn't I don't want my kid. I want my kid to do little kid things and have little kid memories And think about that. Like, he shouldn't be thinking about. It's okay to root for teams. You like, you can't help it. You like what you like,
Hmm.
and it's okay if he ends up liking baseball or basketball, soccer, tennis, lacrosse, whatever the heck he likes. But he shouldn't be, without my permission, it shouldn't take place in a public school setting, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it's inappropriate.
Well, do you think at home he should be exposed to it?
I mean, no. Like, what do you, like, I mean, have I ever watched games? Like, I've never done what that lady did and did an exercise like that in depth. We like the Bulls. We like the Bears. We like the Cubs. She likes the Sox. He likes the Cubs. Actually, I don't mind the Sox either. But I don't know, pal. The Cubs, it's the Cubs.
Yeah.
How about you? You bleed him Cubby blue?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We're Northsiders, pal. We can't help where we're born.
Well, we didn't grow up with the odds next to the teams.
Also true.
So I don't think we had to face that, but I did grow up in an environment of like poker. Did you grow up in an environment with poker or
You know what? I remember spades a lot. I remember but it was always for fun, or like you play for like quarters or $1 because everybody around you, like in school, like you play at the table, right?
mm,
So when Yale is doing these studies, we don't even think of gambling at youth. Where are they exposed? But then I think about my own life, and I'm like, I remember playing cards in school, trying to make a little cash here or there, $5. You're trying to get a little honey bun
mm,
to give to your honey bun.
yeah.
I get it, but there's levels to this shit, and I just think that's too in depth. Don't talk to my kid about that shit.
Yeah.
There'll be a time and a place. Remember, one of my fondest memories, and actually one of his probably fondest memories, if you ask him, is when he went to the game with Uncle Chief. So he remembers going to the Cubs game with you, bro. Did we talk? Ask yourself this: we were at the sporting event. I don't remember talking about that stuff in specific. Did we? Like, I
What?
don't believe when we went to the game with the boy.
Well,
I-
no, that's
we were
different.
just
Yeah, that's different.
enjoying the moment.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like,
That's his exposure. But
yeah,
the
well,
question,
yeah, he was a little baby too.
it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah,
A couple years. He's not that old. Like,
he wasn't at that age where he would know. He's just kind of like
so if these are second graders,
where he would know gambling.
my boy's close.
You know what I'm
He's not
saying?
there, but he's a few years away.
Not gambling and brackets and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's to me like that is grooming because basically, yeah. Now I could see. Wait a minute. Now I can see instead of playing cards, I could see people in school. Did we do that? Did we do that in school? Did we have brackets?
Oh yeah,
I mean, in college, I remember, but high school?
oh yeah. We were doing that all throughout school, man.
Yeah.
We were exposed to brackets and gambling.
Damn. Well, yeehaw!
Hey man, it's just interesting. I wanted to get your take. I thought it was a pretty interesting take.
That
from
actually
her.
was. That was.
Because it's pretty interesting to talk about. Every parent's gonna be different on what they're gonna allow their kids to do, and it's kind of a weird, tough question, but it's kind of a legit question because I think everyone has to talk about it. It's like, yeah, I don't know if I like my child being exposed to that, or I don't see it as that big of a deal. We talk about it at home, or she knows better, or he knows better. So it could be either one of those. But I mean personally, I would, I would be not upset, but I wouldn't be okay with it. Um, I would just take care of it at home, and teach them at home, and explain to them at home what everything is, and make sure that they knew what was happening. Like
But isn't that the part, to me as a parent, that's part of the problem is that with children, they don't have the acumen to comprehend. So I could potentially be setting my kid up for failure. Okay, so say you grasp numbers good, but like there's other people who don't in your family. We all come in different shapes and sizes. We're all different. I don't know at the ripe age of 5 that my son is going to be coming up and understanding what it is. But if you start exposing him to it, he's going to want to know what it is. And what happens if he doesn't have the acumen for it? Now all of a sudden, it's something that went from being fun or entertainment or profitable, and now it's like, damn, I'm losing money. Like, that's why it's important to like consult parents first, because lots of times people have a surface level understanding of these topics and they're not thinking far ahead or that deep into it. But when you become a parent, you do think about these things. What am I exposing my kid to? Who is he around? You want to protect him, bro. Like, because the world's a scary place, and I love my boy. I love him a lot, and I know every parent does too. So what you're willing to do and what I'm willing to do doesn't mean we love our kids any less or any different. They're our own views, but I just can't, bro. Like, don't talk to my kid about that. If my kid was in that class, and I'm pretty sure I would be upset. I
all
would
right,
be
man.
upset.
Let's move on. Um, did you have anything you wanted to add before we go?
The Bulls, man, what's going on with them, bro? Like, I'm excited as a fan, and I know like I'm that pick of yours again. It's not a fanboy pick. It was. I know a lot of thought went into there. They let me down, bro. They let me down so
They
bad.
played good. It was the Clippers played
In the
way
fourth,
better.
they still are having those problems, and
I think the Clippers, they shot like 60% or 75% from three. Like,
that is also. Oh yeah, Batum, right? He
yeah,
had like 1,000 threes.
yeah.
But actually, no, he didn't. He like break the team record or something. It was like one of those type of
It
performances.
was something ridiculous where the Bulls actually played pretty well. And
You think so? I saw something different. I watched a lot of the
yeah,
game.
no, I watched it. I thought they played pretty well. I thought the difference was
Defensively, they look lost. They're not switching when they need to switch,
it.
or they're not communicating on the floor. They're
These
making.
guys were shooting threes from like mid half court, dude. It didn't matter.
I don't know, man. I still think. And then on their offensive side, what are they doing on the pick and roll? Are they scared? Like, I see Kobe White, and I'm not. I like the guy. I just think he's a little undersized. I think he's good,
Yeah. Hey,
but
man, I mean, you got to make the pick. I made the pick, money line. Actually, I would make that pick again.
I know you would. I'm just talking about viewing the game.
It
This is
was,
what I was my
yeah,
gripes with the
it was
game.
something where, like, from a standpoint of like, maybe I handicapped the Bulls more than I handicapped the Clippers, and the Clippers they just came out and showed, man, like we're gonna shoot. I'm serious. They shot like 75% or something from three. You
What
can't
do you think
win.
about the Bulls pick and roll situation on offense?
I don't really get into that. I don't really care.
I do. Those things matter to me because
Yeah.
those are really simplistic, fundamental plays that if you can't make those, you're
I'll
not
tell you,
covering a spread.
some games they do really well, and some games they do really bad.
Well, here's what I
That
saw.
that's what I see in their games. That's
I
that's
saw
what
them
it
not
is.
attacking the rim. They had a tendency to pass out beyond the arc instead of passing inside to get that. Or when they started driving inside, they would just get scared. It seems to me like they don't want the and one, or they don't think they're gonna get the and one. It's well known that Zach doesn't get a lot of calls, or he complains for a lot of calls. Either way, the Bulls aren't getting a lot of
What do you
calls.
think they're gonna do against LA?
I don't know, man. I really don't. Like, I haven't even been keeping up with the standings. I know we're towards the end, pal, and this is bad because I love the Bulls, but how many games do we have left, and do we have a shot? Do you know that? Are the
Yeah,
Bulls
yeah,
mathematically, are the Bulls still in it?
they're still in it.
Let's go.
If they
I'm
would have beat
doubling down on the
if they
Bulls.
would have beat the Clippers, they would. think they would have been in eighth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they
Okay.
did. But they didn't.
But 10 teams get in, right?
10. Yeah. So they're in that
The Big
spot,
10.
like that 10, 11, 9 area,
Man, if we're in,
12.
we can do some damage, but not if we're making those mistakes, man. Defensively, not communicating, those are big things. Like I was watching the game, man. I
Well,
watched the whole
well,
game.
well, let me explain this to you. LeBron came back, and then Beverly gave him the too small. They whooped their ass. Now, Lakers are coming to Chicago. Do you think there's any betting opportunity there?
Oh, pal, look, after a loss, actually, wait, and then is it 2 losses, right? We lost.
Yeah.
Oh wow, back.
No, just one. Just one.
What about the Clippers? Didn't we just lose to them?
That's the one. They just beat the Lakers.
Oh, you're saying beat the Lakers?
Now the Lakers are coming back to Chicago.
Well, LeBron has always played well in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. So I had to look into that game a little further, but I would be leaning that side.
What
Again,
side?
I don't want to say fade the Bulls, but I might be leaning to fade the Bulls in that
Yeah.
particular spot. But I'm gonna look into it.
I think that will pretty much put the kibosh on the Bulls. Then
On the
after that.
Bulls, then
Yeah.
that's the part of sports
That
betting
again-
that drives me bananas, bro. Oh my god, it's because like half of me wants. Oh, that's the
You're a
thing.
fanboy. You're a fanboy.
I mean, I love my team, but
Don't deny
also
it.
I don't want to lose money. And if I feel like the money needs to be on the other side to fade the team, then sometimes you gotta do it.
Yeah, yesterday's pick was just the best bet. Actually, what scared me is this is one of those picks where I made it and I was checking social media for it, and I saw that a lot of people agreed with me, and they also agreed with the under, but more overwhelmingly on the under and the overhit. And actually, I thought to myself, I should really fade this under and go with the over. But I had already made my selection of the Bulls, and
They shot horrible in the first half. I remember that too. So
they
if
scored. It was like 50-60 in the first half.
I'm just talking about in terms of percentage. I just saw like I felt like they were taking enough attempts to keep up with them, but they weren't going down. And I don't know the actual stats. You could probably look it up, but
Yeah,
I'm willing
Kawhi
to
didn't
bet
have a
my
good game.
life
They were
that
just shooting
their
a whole bunch
shooting
of threes.
percentage was a lot lower than
Dude,
60%.
Eric Gordon lit him up.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
Dude,
lit
he's
him
as
up.
old as like us,
Dude,
isn't he?
I'm telling you, they just lit him up.
Dude.
It was nothing you can do about it.
One for the nursing home. Boom.
All right, Dougie.
Eric Gordon represented.
We'll talk next time. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, man. Peace out.